Good afternoon, or should I say good evening, people. Hope everybody is well. Hope everybody's had a fantastic day. Not too testy, not too challenging, but that could be a good thing. I'm going to go into that in this episode. So, episode 4, Brad Skelly, Body, Mind and Soul. Now, I was sort of having a look or having a think about topics that I wanted to cover moving forward. And what I do a lot of the time to sort of retrieve that information or download them answers are either when I'm meditating or when I'm running. Now, the two that I come across today came to me when I was on my run or however, when I just finished my run. And I asked the questions, okay, so episode 4 then, let's go. What topic should we cover? And the two that came to me was the ones that I put on the poll earlier. And they were, number 1, my opinions on religion and the universe. And its creation, how it works, my experiences with it, and do I believe in religion? Am I religious? And do I think religious is beneficial? Or the other option was balance within my spiritual life and everyday life. And well, the public voted. You guys decided you wanted the balance video, so that's great. I was looking forward to either one of them topics, to discuss either one of them, so that's absolutely brilliant for me anyway. And so with this one, I've sort of I'm going to incorporate another life experience throughout jumping onto my spiritual path. So straight into it. For me, when I originally opened myself up to working within the spiritual side of things or on my spiritual path, I just discovered like a completely new altered state of perception or clearer state of perception. I was in complete bliss. Everything was more vibrant, everything was more colourful. Everything that I was seeing, the sounds, I could feel the sounds. It was on the same frequency. The air, everything felt amazing. The colours that I was seeing were absolutely beautiful. I was on a complete high. And it really, really made me disconnect at the same time. So even though I was on this high, I started to sort of feel a lot more sensitive around certain people, around certain groups, in certain situations, whether that be family or whether that be friends, or anything really. It was as though I'd sort of like removed a darker layer. And I was just a lot more sensitive. So I started to disconnect from people that didn't really resonate with my energy. So I sort of was in this like high cloud 9 dream state. And it really, I was just really struggling to understand why people wouldn't want to feel this way, or why people weren't willing to jump into this sort of avenue or experience these sort of things. Because I was in a position where maybe it fed my ego a little bit, and I was like, all my days I've finished, I've fulfilled my service here. This is what happens when you've completed the game. Everything was just like, wow, I cannot believe this. It was unbelievable. And then so that's where my disconnect started to happen. When people weren't on the path, I was sort of like, I need to just sort of be around people that are on the path. And the high was just crazy. And, that was a beautiful feeling. And like I say, I was really, really cherishing of that because I just got out of my other end of darkness. So this lasted around 8 months of complete bliss. And I felt absolutely amazing. Now, I then slowly started to fall down sort of a slippery slope again. Not where sort of habits or anything were concerned, because I was keeping up with my daily practices, my meditation, my reading, my exercising. I was hydrated and I had a balanced diet. However, I was sort of, because I was open now, my perception had changed, and I'd sort of pulled back a couple of layers, and my vision was a lot clearer. I was seeing a lot of the darkness that goes on within the world, and all I was becoming swamped by was sort of like the gloomy darkness of how the world was working and how systems was working, and how, yeah, before I knew it, all I could see was the darkness of what was taking place within the world. And it was sort of like pushing me to be a bit of an outcast. Like I said, I was still very, very aware of this blissfulness that I just experienced, and I still had a very clear vision. And I think that's why that sort of tipped me a little bit, because then when all I could see clearly was what was going on in the world, whatever that may be, was sort of, I will say, really, really challenging me. And it was really, really testing me a lot. And all I could think was like, why am I getting swamped by all this darkness again? Like I've just literally come out of a blissful state. I need to get back to this blissful state. And it was becoming really like I was forming a resistance. And I started to become bombarded with so many hurdles, tests, challenges, whatever they may be, with work slowing down. I became self-employed and I was doing full-time modelling, with then the modelling to be slowing down, and then my financial situation to be hitting an all-time low, which then led on to a lot of stress, which then followed on to a lot of health anxiety symptoms coming back again, which then followed on to a lot of depression, and sort of molded into a depressive mentality now, which you can imagine if your career and everything sort of goes from up to down, you can imagine the crash and the effect that has on the human body and the human mind. And like I said, I was keeping up with the practices, and when I did keep up with them practices, this was a great tool that I had this time round, to be like, okay, no, but just remember that, remember the higher power, or remember that you can just escape with a meditation for 10 minutes, and just remember that you have these tools equipped within you now that you didn't have before. And that was quite reassuring. However, the scales were very much weighing towards the darker side of things at this point. And then it got to a point where I sort of started to refrain from intoxicating myself a lot. So I was staying in, I wasn't participating and going on nights out regularly like I once did when I was younger, and all sort of partying activities like that, because at that point in time I thought, I'm so cleansed at the moment, and I'm really I'm in a clear mindset, I'm in a clear state of mind, and my vision's quite clear and everything like that. I didn't want to sort of revert to anything like that. However, when I'm being presented with all these sort of dark struggles, that I'm thinking, well, what is the point then, man? What is the point? I've just done all that work. I've just been feeling really good. I felt like I had some clarity, and I felt like my vision was clear. To just be, and I don't see it getting any better. Like usually I can see a light at the end of the tunnel. However, at this point, I was really struggling to see a light at the end of the tunnel. So started going out again, started escaping with a couple of drinks and whatnot, started partying a lot again, and sort of started to lose myself again. Now, when I'd come back around to that, I thought, and I become a little bit disheartened, even though in the back of my mind and within the passion and the heart and soul within me, I knew that, I could get back to that point. However, the stretches were becoming longer and longer. So imagine like I got over my first phase of depression, yeah? And then when I come out through the other end of that was the blissfulness of my spiritual path. And I was like, this is amazing, wow. However, then as that went up as an incline, I then got thrown straight back down into the darkness. And that obviously tipped me down to some toxic habits and toxic traits and things like that to escape it, because I thought, I was getting to the end of my tether, losing my will. However, little did I know that was all part of my journey. I was simply resisting what was meant to be. Now I come across a book at this time, and I was studying a lot of the yin and yang, about the balance and the profanity of balance within our journey, and how important of an aspect it is to be understood. Now, within, like I say, and this is like I say about the balance of emotion and the spiritual path and things like, I at that beginning point, at that initial point, would have been like, this is it, this is spirituality locked in, plain and simple. Get on the spiritual path, everyone. It's sunshine and rainbows. It's brilliant. It's amazing. Oh, it's peaceful. It's joy. I've completed it. I don't need anything else. However, studying this book that I was reading, I found a very, very powerful state of enlightenment come over me again. Now, the first time this powerful state of enlightenment come over me was more because I found the bliss and I found the joy and the happiness. Now, this time, the power had enlightened me was because I found happiness and joy within the struggle. Now, this is going to sound absolutely crazy to a lot of people, and you know, and that's fine. It's very hard it's a complex situation to understand, and I was quite surprised when I came to understand it. But the message that I was receiving is that the darkness is as, if not more important than the light. Why so? Because without the darkness, we don't grow. The darkness is there to push us out of our comfort zones and enable us to grow. And without that, we're stagnant, we're stuck. And then we don't appreciate the good times, or we don't appreciate the joy and the happiness as much when it comes round, because as humans, the novelty wears off a lot. Now, this was so powerful to me. I was absolutely astounded when I had come to this understanding, because I thought, oh my days, yes! Yes! That's what I'm talking about. We're back. I was like, we're back, baby. I couldn't be any more happier. This dark patch was needed. This dark patch was a vital part of my journey. And this dark patch, which I thought was the worst time in my life, was actually building me up to be the strongest person that I could possibly be. Without this dark patch, I would have never grown. And without this dark patch, I would have still been the same. I would still been in the same position I was previously. And now I am fully accepting of what is thrown my way. I have that altered state of perception again on another level. You know, I'm happy for the darkness to come in. I allow it. I let it flow through my veins. I harness it. I take it on board and use it as a superpower. And you should do the same. When that darkness comes in, don't resist. Allow it to happen. Because as soon as that's coming into you, that's the universe saying to you, okay, yeah, we're at a level now. You need to grow again. You know, you need to evolve. You need to adapt. You know, and we're going to throw you this test, and we're going to throw you this challenge, and these can come in many shapes and forms, whatever that may be. You know, I've experienced financial struggle as a test. I've experienced health struggles as a test, mentally and physically. I've experienced different kind of situations with socializing. You know, this can come in any form, love, heartbreak, anything. And at that time, that will seem like it's the worst time in the world, or the darkest patch that you will ever experience, you know, and like I did. However, just know deep in your heart that you're being thrown that because you are capable of growth. And that is why the universe is throwing you that way. And I mean, right, do not get me wrong. Now that I am aware of that, that is in no way, shape or form me saying to you that I have then completed it again, you know, and that's me done. Now I'm happy with the darkness coming in and the blissfulness. I'm complete. I'm done. No, not a chance. You know, even recently, the universe has been throwing some massive struggles my way. Even to the point where I've just been feeling numb, unemotional, or emotionally unavailable. And I've just not really felt anything for anything. I've not felt excited or sad. I've just been flat. And, you know, that is also another part of the process. You know, when things are blocked, when things are lodged, that's the universe saying, okay, I'm going to make you grow again. I'm going to throw you some darkness, because when you come out the other side, you're going to be elated. And that is still very much happening to me. So if you are going through that, you are not alone. I promise you now. I still go through that myself. And I know a lot of other people further on in their journey go through that themselves. And I think this is a very important aspect to sort of take on board within day-to-day life, whether that be the spiritual side of things or not. You know, whether you want to see it as the universe or a higher source is orchestrating this, is sending you these growth patches or these tests and these struggles and this blissfulness, then great. However, if that's not something that you believe in, and you just want to think that I'm going through a struggle physically, and that is all there is. And you know, I still need to grow as that. It's the same sort of happy medium, you know. It's still sort of getting to the same point of being aware and just self-awareness, becoming aware of who you are, becoming aware of your situation, and also opening you up to becoming aware of the messages that's getting sent through. What is this teaching me? It's always a lesson. It's always a lesson. You know, whether you're going through the blissfulness or whether you're going through the joyful patches, that's a lesson. That's teaching. That's showing you some joy that, here you go, you're being rewarded. Or if you are being thrown into the darkness, and if you are really struggling and you are finding yourself in some confusingly sticky situations that don't really make sense right now, they are literally been put there to guide you on the right path and push you in the right direction. When you come into contact with them situations, just say to yourself, okay, yeah, what is this teaching me? How can I learn from this, and how can I evolve from this? Just my message to all of you will be that the healing journey is never over. The healing journey is never over, in my opinion. While we're here on earth, experiencing this journey and our identities, the healing journey is never over. That's why we came to grow. You know, if we become stagnant on our journey and we don't grow, then the purpose, like I say, or any sort of evolvement doesn't come at hand. Because we will remain stuck or will come to a stop. So yeah, the healing journey is never over. A very, very good friend once said to me, nobody escapes the trauma train. Nobody escapes the trauma train. Wherever you are, whatever you're doing, you know, you whether you've been successful from day one in life, or whether you haven't, at some point the trauma train will get you. And that's not even to say, you know, oh my God, this is a dark thing to think about, or this is going to be frightening to think about, that, you know, I'm sometime going to get hit by trauma. No, what that's saying is that you have a very, very vital part for growth here. A very, very vital part for growth. So, and when it does hit you, you will know. I've experienced trauma a lot in my life, and when it does hit you, you will know. However, just know in your heart, you're not alone at all. You are never alone. And even when you think you are, yeah, you're not. I've experienced what you're experiencing, or if not, other people have experienced it. There's billions of people in the world. Everybody's going through something, and everybody has an internal battle that we don't know about. So yeah, the balance within the spiritual journey and everyday life, you know, the ups, the downs. And like I say, guys, this is still not very much over for me. Like I say, guys, this is very much still progression journey for me. You know, that's why I like to project these videos out to yourselves, because I'm just sharing life experiences here that could help benefit you moving forward. So, yeah. But anyway, guys, massive love with that. Tomorrow's video is going to be my beliefs on and opinions on religions and how the universe operates, let's say. So yeah, episode 4. If anybody could share, if anybody could like, if anybody could comment, that would be fantastic. If anybody's going through anything that I've experienced here, please do pop me a message, and I'll get back to you, and we will work with yourselves moving forward. Peace and love.